Hello, so let us look at number 28 together. So here we have, in a bag contains equal number of 6 different flavors. Now, her students randomly selected 4 jelly beans, and then they were all black licorice. Now, the question is, how can we explain using a die or dice, roll of dice, 250 times to explain this phenomenon? In fact, black licorice will be 1 out of 6 flavors, and rolling a die will also has the same ratio, 1 out of 6. So basically, since both of them talks about equally likely of all 6 different flavors or 6 different numbers, and they will have one particular thing out of 6 things, so they can be comparable in terms of explaining the probability. All right, number 29. So these are the values 4, 9, 19, and then 39 and 70, so forth and so on. So what's actually happening? What's the pattern that, what is the pattern between the numbers? So 4 becomes 9 by multiplying by 2 and then adding 1. Same thing happens from 9 through 19. Multiply that by 2 and adding 1. Of course, if you saw other patterns, then it would have been a little bit difficult to do, but this might be one of the easier way for you to approach the pattern here. So now, once you do that, multiplying by 2 and then adding 1, so forth and so on. Then a sub 1 was 4, and then following term is what, 2 times of the previous term, and then adding 1. So that's the basically way to do it. Now the next term is 159 by multiplying 79 by 2 and adding 1. So if you multiply 159 by 2 and adding 1, then you're going to get 319 and 639. And in our case, they're looking for the 8th term, so 639 would have been the answer. All right, now, second one is they want us to determine the rate of the growth to the nearest percent in the exponential function here. So basically, if you're to assume that 1966 as the t equal to 0 initial year, so that numbers will be a bit smaller, then 2015, in fact, becomes the 49 in terms of value of t. So now, what we can do is, this is the formula which we can set up. Now, amount is 8.75 is equal to 1.25 times b to the 49th power. So then b then is equal to, we have to divide 8.75 by 1.25 and raise by reciprocal of 49, so which is 1 over 49th power. If you put that into calculator, that's about 1.04. So therefore, it's a 4% increase. Alrighty, let's look at number 31. We want to show that if this one is odd or even. So the way which we can do it is by substituting negative x in place of x. So as you can see, we have negative x, the quantities to the raised by 4th power, and negative 3 times negative x to the 2nd power, and minus 4. But since all of them are raised by the even exponent, just that's the same thing as x to the 4th power, minus 3x squared, and minus 4. But that is, in fact, same thing as the original function, so we can write it as j of x, which basically this means it's an even function. All right, let's move on to the next problem. Now, here we have a, b, c are all positive numbers, and then given function x minus a, x minus b, x plus c. So we know that x-intercepts are a and b in this way because a is greater than b, but c will be on the other side. In fact, I should write it as negative c. How about that, since c is a positive number? Now d, and then the sketch would have been something like this, where y is equal to p of x. Alrighty. It wasn't that bad. Let's move on to the Next problem, number 33. So I can, in this case, I can add this term to the other side, and I'll end up getting 3p over p minus 5 is equal to p plus 2 over p plus 3 because they have same denominator. Now when we multiply them across, we'll end up getting 3p times p plus 3. And then we have p minus 5 times p plus 2. And when you multiply them out, we get to have something like this. And then bring all the terms to one side, then we'll end up getting this one. Now, since all of them has coefficient that is even number, so what I can do is I can divide each term by 2, then I'll end up getting this one. Now I can factor two numbers that multiply to 5 and add up to 6. So we get this one, and then -1 and -5 becomes our solution. All right, since -1 and -5 doesn't make any one of the denominators to be 0, so this one as it is good as our answer. Alrighty, let's move on. Number 34. So here, fifth day, the penalty was $2.25. So I can express that as an a sub 5 is equal to 2.25. And 21 days was equal to 625. So we can write it as a sub 21 is equal to 6.25. Then we can figure out D. D is like finding the slope. So here we have 6.25 minus 2.25 divided by 21 minus 5. Then we get to realize that that's equal to 0.25. Now, but we need they want us to write up the expression for a sub n. Then I want to find out what a sub 1 is. To do that, I'm going to use the a sub 5, which must be equal to a sub 1 plus 4 because it was 5 minus 1 times 0.25. So a sub 5 was equal to 2.25. Then you can realize that a sub 1 was equal to 1.25. Then our formula is equal to a sub n is equal to 1.25, which was a sub 1, plus n minus 1 times 0.25. Now, what they want us to do is to figure out the penalty if it was wait for 60 days. So then a sub 60 must be equal to 1.25. I basically plug that into the formula. Then you get to realize that it was equal to 16. So $16 would have been the answer. All right, let's move on to the next one. Now, number 35. So they want us to sketch at least one cycle with the amplitude of 2 and midline at -3/2, and period is 2 pi. So, for example, I drew the line assuming that that's the -3/2. Since I'm going up 2 units because amplitude was 2, I'm going to go as high as 1/2 and as low as -7/2. And then I can just sketch that. That would be my one cycle. Where I end must be 2 pi because period was pi, so in the middle there must be pi. Now, part B is I want to explain the difference between what I sketched and then what's given right over here. And more than anything, minus pi/3 is the difference. So minus pi/3 will basically shift the function to the right by pi/3. All right, let's move on to number 36. So here we have to do exponential regression. Now, so in my case, what I have done was I put them into actually a computer. I was out of calculator. So when you put that into computer, we get to realize that same value. 4.168 times 3.981 to the x power. That was the equation, exponential equation. Now, what we want to do is we need to find the time when it doesn't exceed 100. So therefore, what I can do is 100 is equal to that expression. Then what I can do is now I can divide each side by 4.169. Then which we get 23.99. And then this is the expression that I'm getting. Then to find x, we have to use the logarithm. Log base of 3.981 of 23.992. So I'm looking at log of 3.981 of 23.992. Then I get approximately 2.3. But to the nearest quarter of an hour, so it's got to be 2.25 hour. Alrighty. Now, second one, or the last question, is that they want us to sketch both functions from 0 to 5. So I use the decimals and then to do that, and then intersection between those two functions was t was equal to 1.95. Now, that basically means after about 1.95 years later, the value of the car and then amount of loan that is owed in the car is equal to each other. Now, second part of the question is the about the insurance policy, collision policy. And then what I can do is let y equals 3,000. Then you will realize that they're going to meet up around here. And if you have to use the calculator to figure out that intersection, it will come out to be 5.93. But they want us to write it up as the nearest year, then it will be 6 years. So 6 years after the purchase, he can take off he can cancel the collision policy. All right, that's it. I'll see you later.